Kano is a Mortal Kombat character who is one of the original combatants in the first ever Mortal Kombat game. While he has arguably been overshadowed by other characters over time, Kano is nevertheless someone with an interesting plot arc. If you have missed out on Kano's story or are simply looking to learn more about the character ahead of the next game, stay tuned for the full story of Kano. Kano, simply put, is a bad person. He's a mercenary, leader of the criminal organization known as Black Dragon. He is primarily after money, furthering his own organization, or generally furthering his own survival or self-interests. Kano has no primary loyalty to anyone other than himself, and he offers his services to villains who he assumes will compensate him in some way. He is frequently tailed by members of the United States Special Forces, which include Sonya Blade and Jax. He is evil, but without the same power of major villains such as Shao Kahn. In the games, he is sometimes given moments where he ostensibly displays sympathy or a semblance of humanity. These moments, however, are egotistic in nature. Whenever we see him, he is part bionic. He loses his eye as a result of a fight with Jax Briggs early in the franchise's mythology. Kano is also portrayed as weapons savvy, as part of his work with Black Dragon. Nevertheless, he is all about survival and is not susceptible to the same radical character changes or turns of fate that some of the hero characters sometimes meet with. Before continuing, it should be explained that there are two continuities in Mortal Kombat lore. The Midway continuity, comprised of games developed by Midway Games, the original developers of the Mortal Kombat series, and the NetherRealm continuity, comprised of games developed by NetherRealm Studios, who currently develop the Mortal Kombat games. Midway Games is now defunct, and with it, the Midway continuity is closed. The NetherRealm continues on, with Mortal Kombat 11 set to be the next entry in the timeline. Kano's first chronological appearance in the Midway continuity is as the main antagonist in the action spin-off Mortal Kombat Special Forces. In it, Kano frees members of Black Dragon from an American Special Forces prison in a bid ostensibly to reform Black Dragon. While the Black Dragon members are shown to be loyal, Kano is disinterested in their well-being and largely recuses them so that they can be used to slow down the hero of the game, Jax Briggs, while Kano seeks out an artifact called the Eye of Chitian. Though Kano does acquire the jewel, Jax eventually defeats the Black Dragon members and Kano himself. However, Kano escapes captivity after his defeat, leading up to his appearance in the first Mortal Kombat tournament. Kano enters the tournament upon hearing that he might be able to acquire valuables from Shang Tsung's palace. However, he is also tailed by Sonya Blade, a Special Forces agent whose partner Kano had killed. Sonya, Kano, and Johnny Cage later find themselves allied in a fight against Goro after Shang Tsung is defeated by Liu Kang. But during the battle, the island on which the tournament was held begins to fall apart, which eventually led to Sonya and Kano's capture by a revitalized Shang Tsung. His captivity renders him unplayable in Mortal Kombat 2, as his capture by Shang Tsung then makes him a captive under Shao Kahn. Jax later frees him and Sonya, but even after Kano is arrested by Jax, Kano then escapes back into Outworld. The Mortal Kombat 3 series of games sees Kano allying with Shao Kahn by offering his services as a weapons instructor. He is presumed killed when Sonya throws him off of the roof of a building, but he is later found by a boss character, Motaro. Later, Shiva, a Shokan warrior, approaches Kano, who is well, but captive under Motaro. Shiva plans to assassinate Shao Kahn and would pay Kano in jewels for his assistance. Kano agrees, but sometime later, Motaro returns to Kano's cell. Shiva ambushes Motaro and beats him to death, or so she thinks. Before Shiva ambushes Shao Kahn, Kano notifies Shao Kahn of Shiva's incoming assassination attempt. This results in Shiva's death and Kano's promotion within Shao Kahn's army. Kano is not playable again until Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. He is portrayed as a competent military commander on Shao Kahn's behalf prior to the game's beginning. However, he also bears witness to Shao Kahn's death at the hands of Quan Chi and Shang Tsung, the Deadly Alliance. Afterwards, Kano pledges allegiance to the two, but it turns out that the Deadly Alliance had also made a pact with Mavado of the Red Dragon group. The Red Dragon is the group from which Black Dragon originates. Whereas the Red Dragon were originally about discipline and strict moral codes, the Black Dragon formed as an offshoot without any of those moral attachments. Mavado's bargain with the Deadly Alliance was this: kill Kenshi and they would hand Kano over to him for a fight. Kano is absent for the next game, Mortal Kombat Deception, and when he returns in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, we learn that he was held captive by Red Dragon, presumably confirming Mavado's victory. We learn from Kano that Red Dragon has been conducting genetic experiments on him and their own members, in a bid to create humans spliced with dragon DNA. In the Battle of Armageddon at the end of the game's plot, Kano is allied with the Forces of Darkness, presumably because he has no business siding with the heroes, even if he couldn't care much about any of the villains' ambitions. The Forces of Darkness, though with only Shao Kahn remaining, are the victors of the Battle of Armageddon, but it is Raiden of the Forces of Light who attempts to avert this outcome by sending information of these events to his past self, back to before the first Mortal Kombat tournament. This founds the NetherRealm continuity. Kano is present in Mortal Kombat 2011, though without his own story mode chapter. Kano interrupts an escalated argument between Sonya and Johnny Cage. While he nearly kills Cage by throwing him off of a bridge, Cage returns to defeat Kano before Kano can attack Sonya. Later, Kano challenges Sonya during the latter's story mode chapter. Kano loses, but before Sonya can apprehend him, he escapes with Shang Tsung. Kano at this point is now squarely aligned with the villains and isn't seen again until the second Mortal Kombat tournament in the game's story. While selling weapons to Shang Tsung, Kano is interrupted by Smoke, who is asking for the whereabouts of the original Sub-Zero. Smoke defeats Kano here. Kano is then not seen for some time until we learn that he had revived Kabal, also a member of Black Dragon, using a respirator he made and Shang Tsung's magic. Kano suggests rejoining Black Dragon, but Kabal, who wants to do good, responds poorly to the suggestion, beats Kano down and demands to be taken to where Shao Kahn is. Once there, they see Shao Kahn promote a newly revived Sindel within Shao Kahn's military ranks. Kabal later knocks out Kano and moves to attack Shao Kahn, once he has seen Sindel powered up by sacrificing Shang Tsung. We then see Kano later as he is in charge of Earthrealm prisoners along with Goro and Kentaro. He is caught off guard by Cyber Sub-Zero, who freezes him. Sub-Zero was apprehended, turned into a cyborg, and programmed for evil, but then was also reprogrammed for justice after a meeting with Jax and the heroes prior to Cyber Sub-Zero's visit to Kano and his allies. This then concludes Kano's role in Mortal Kombat 2011. Kano appears as a playable character in Mortal Kombat 10 as well, but does not have his own story mode chapter. Prior to the game's start, he steals Shinnok's amulet and gives it to Mileena in exchange for money. Mileena also promises to pay Kano if he assassinates Kotal Kahn, her rival as Outworld leader. Kano agrees, and he appears as a story mode fight in Kotal Kahn's chapter, in which Kano loses. Kano is almost killed by Kotal Kahn until Tanya, an associate of Mileena, attacks Kotal, giving Kano an opportunity to escape. Later, Kano has blended in with Outworlders seeking refuge in Earthrealm, but a chance observation from Li Mei prompts Sonya to search for Kano. She, along with Li Mei and Kenshi, later find him amongst a mass of refugees. Dropping his disguise, Kano offers information for his freedom. Sonya balks at the suggestion, and Kano threatens her daughter, Cassie. Sonya then beats him up and almost kills him until Johnny Cage tells her to let up. Kano coughs up information on the location of Shinnok's amulet and Mileena's associates. This concludes Kano's role in Mortal Kombat 10. Kano is, at the end of the day, a common thug amongst the more powerful, influential, or connected characters as it stands in the NetherRealm continuity. His role in Mortal Kombat 10 ended quickly. It has never been the case that he has been in a power position, and he is a flighty character who incidentally serves the interests of other villains as it suits him. There's virtually no chance of him becoming a hero character either. Kano is essentially set to continually be a minor character in Mortal Kombat lore, but for taking on, at best, arcs of importance throughout a game's story. The Red Dragon group did appear in Mortal Kombat 10 comic series, warring with the Black Dragon and Kano. Kano's initial exploits include fighting Sub-Zero and nearly stealing the Kamidogu dagger. He and the Black Dragon are later invaded by Mavado and the Red Dragon, with the latter faction winning. Kano for a time allies with Kotal Kahn, but it falls apart when Kano attempts to collect payment for services and Kotal refuses, stating that Kano's actions have endangered his alliance with Earthrealm. It remains to be seen if the Red Dragon will ever appear again. With the time travel-based story of Mortal Kombat 11, the plot will likely be complicated enough without dealing with multiple factions. Besides, Kano's past self is as bad as his current self. In essence, Kano will be as useful as he is to some other important villain, and what that may be could vary wildly. And that concludes our video on the full story of Kano. Kano is just awful through and through, only as loyal to someone as their wallet is deep. Nevertheless, it can be interesting to see how this story unfolds, and with Kano, you generally know to expect consistent treachery. You just don't know who he will align with and if he will maintain that allegiance. Be sure to leave your thoughts on Kano in the comment section below, and whether or not you want to see Kano in Mortal Kombat 11. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.